Don't be sad that it is ending. Be sad that it happened at all.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
Welcome into another edition of Southwest Bias, live from Studio K. Make sure to sign up for that Circle K app. Download the Circle K app today. Become a member of the Inner Circle. And yeah, don't be sad because it's ending. Be sad because it happened at all. I'm talking about Kevin Durant, and I'm not saying be sad that Kevin Durant was ever a member of the Phoenix Suns, because we got the opportunity for the last few years to watch a top 10 talent all time in the NBA. And we are lucky to have witnessed that up close and personal. And Kevin Durant, over the last 2 years, did everything within his powers on the court to help this team win. So when I say be happy or be sad that it ever happened, I mean be sad in terms of how it happened and what transpired, and the fact that we did not get to see Kevin Durant go to the highest levels of basketball while wearing a Phoenix Suns uniform. Because to me, that's sad. His wasted 2 years here in Phoenix are sad, and it had nothing to do with what he did on the court or anything else he did. Earlier today, Brian Windhorst on ESPN's Get Up actually had this quote to say that I'll read for you about the fact that Kevin Durant is coming, his time in the Valley is coming to an end. He said, "I do believe Kevin Durant will be traded in the coming weeks, and obviously the Suns will announce Jordan Ott as their head coach today, and their focus can now shift to trading Kevin Durant." And I think it is exactly what this team needs. This team needs a reset. And the only way you can do that is by moving on from Kevin Durant at this point to recoup any assets that you're going to be able to get to make this team work in the present and maybe in the future. And for me, I think it's sad by the fact that we have to say goodbye to a great talent like that. But it also makes sense. And I don't want to see Kevin Durant go out the way the last 2 years have been. I want to make that very, very clear. I do not want to see Kevin Durant go out like Charles Barkley went out, where he wasn't playing well and he was playing for a team that couldn't reach expectations and never, didn't ascend back to the finals. I want to see Kevin Durant have a legit shot to win an NBA championship, whether that's in New York or Minnesota or Dallas or wherever he winds up, even San Antonio next to Wemby. I want to see him have a legit chance to win a title over the next 2 years. And let's be honest, we know right now that's not going to happen in Phoenix. So a trade is necessary. There's no doubt in it. And I'm glad that Brian Windhorst is saying that unlike other off seasons, we're going to see a conclusion to this much faster than we previously would have with some of these big trades. And I'm glad that we're looking at it happening sometime before the draft, because that insinuates draft capital will be involved. But there's another reason why I think this is the best thing to happen for Suns fans and for fans in Arizona in general. It's because things have become so toxic as Phoenix Suns fans. It has become divided. It has become vitriolic. It is not healthy, the schism that has happened between Suns fans. And that's not Kevin Durant's fault, but it is some of the KD stans' faults online. Now there's a division and this weird rift between Suns fans who root for Devin Booker and Suns fans who don't, or perceived Suns fans. And honestly, I'm sick of it. it was happening since word one. And it's slowly poisoned things because they're not Suns fans. They're fans of one person and want whatever is best for that guy. And that's fine. Look, I think in today's world, supporting a one guy is okay. But it's the toxic nature that came along with it. And sure, the ownership situation, the perception of that, the PTSD from the 10 prior years under the disgraced former owner, those all things play into it. All right? I think that is truly part of it. But the toxicity of the way Suns fans treat each other now and the perception of things is insane to me. I know we've been angry in the past. I know we've been frustrated without winning a title. But the fact that we've turned on each other at this point is crazy to me as well. And it's sad in some ways that we can't find a way to find the common ground anymore. And I get it. Winning will cure a lot of this, right? But I also think a change like this will cure a hell of a lot too. The last 2 years, the effort on the court hasn't been there. We know that. That's part of it. But then you add on top the infighting between fans of one player and fans who grew up with this team for their whole life, like myself. It's oil and water mixing. So then you've got losing mixed with this, and it's created such a toxic just environment around this team and how you feel about it. It was the perfect mix of just making things untenable for 2+ seasons. And again, not Kevin Durant's fault at all. Kevin Durant poured everything he had on the court to this Phoenix Suns team. And I personally enjoyed watching his play, right? We've been honored with that. But it's the other extracurriculars that have gone on and done that. And I don't think either side, on either side of the fence, that you're rooting for one fan or one guy has done anything great for this. There's Devin Booker fans that are all in that will fight as well, and I don't think that's healthy. It's been a weird thing for Suns fans overall. And I hate to see Kevin Durant go out this way in Phoenix, because if they had lived up to expectations, Kevin Durant would have been a god in this town, would have been beloved the way Charles Barkley is. And I don't think it's fair to him, because it wasn't his doing. But I'm also glad that when this comes to an end, hopefully it's a new chapter for Suns fans as well. Hopefully the division can start to heal a little bit. And if the haul is enough, hopefully you can see some decent basketball next year and even better basketball in subsequent years as they try to rebuild with youth. Try to get back to what made everybody love the 2021 team, where they were scrappy, all right? I think that is a huge thing here as well. I wish Kevin Durant luck. I want him to win a title wherever it is. But I am really glad that some of this drama is going to go along with him. But maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We welcome in the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, onto the program. And Shane, where do you stand on this? I mean, I've got Killer Rex in the chat, our resident curmudgeon who wouldn't like anything, even if I told him his mother was a saint, in here saying this is such cope blaming Twitter. I'm not blaming Twitter for the Suns team's problems.
It's insane because the last year specifically, but the last 2 years in general with the Suns fan base is so political. It is genuinely insane. It's like a bipartisan system with Book and Kevin Durant fans.
It's disgusting.
It's crazy. It's hilarious because just like what's going on in real life, you lose sight of the fact that everyone's on the same team. You're all trying to do the same thing with the Phoenix Suns.
It certainly didn't feel like there was. It did not feel like a team, and I think that's part on the court. It didn't either at times. And again, that's not Kevin Durant's fault, but I think you mix that with the fact that on social media, and honestly, when you talk to Suns fans in our chat wherever you're discussing them, it felt like there was just this giant wedge between everything.
Yeah, and it never has to be that way. The superstar effect never has to be that way. Because
Killer Rex says this is what happens when a superstar plays on. It's not. It's not. I think this is a particular group of fans. Right?
Well, I think like once you get to a certain level of popularity, the pool increases, and just by pure like percentages, there's gonna be a percentage of worse people there and more of them. But things don't have to be like this if things are going good. And things never went good in these 2 years that this happened. So that's why it got bad. That's why it got nasty.
Yeah, I mean, it took a distinctive turn the second that things got bad, and I think that is a true fact. And look, I understand LeBron stands are the same. I think to your point, you reach a certain level. I think KD, LeBron, they're all on a level where they have those kind of fans that are just dedicated to them.
Yeah, I think you saw so many. There were a lot of special moments with this team, and when you remember the wins and some of the great moments that this team had, that specifically Katie and Book had, like you think of the games they won against Denver in that playoff series. You didn't see any argument in the comments. You didn't see any argument on Twitter on who was better. They were both.
No, that's not true. You did get that because I hosted post-game shows during that run. And if you gave one guy slight credit, the other group jumped in and was like, why are you giving no?
Yeah, well, it was a lot less.
It wasn't as toxic, but it was still there. Right?
Yeah. This whole thing is just, it's better for everybody if you just move on. Yeah.
So, sometimes a relationship can just be toxic. Right?
Yep.
And at that point, you got to throw your hands up and go, all right, it's better for us to move on. I think we've all had relationships like that. And it doesn't mean necessarily that the other person's bad. It just doesn't mix, right? You don't get to be the best version of yourself. And I'm fine with moving on. I'm actually excited from that one standpoint. I want to hear from you guys, though, because the end of the week, I promise we're going to do a mailbag on Friday, a voice mailbag where we're going to do your voicemails, your texts, your comments in some of these videos. Hell, you can DM me on Twitter, and I'm sure I'm going to get a few DMs after today's show. You can call or text at 1-480-535-0425. That's 480-535-0425. And big thanks to Chris, who has already sent a couple of texts in there. Chris from our Discord, we appreciate you. I want everybody involved there as well. And I'm glad to get that off my chest. I was going to wait until the trade happened, but I've seen still some people being like, I don't know. No, it's just time to move on. And Brian Windhorst gave me a little hope that soon we can just clear the page, move on to a new era, a new chapter in Suns basketball, because we need it. And hopefully the Jordan Ott press conference today is at least part of that.
Yeah. While we move on to our next topic, chat, put in the chat what you want as your return when this trade eventually happens. What would be enough, and what would leave you at least satisfied because this has to happen. It's going to happen.
It's inevitable.
Let us know in the chat what your minimum return would be.
By the way, welcome to Matt Ishbia with 2 R's asking, am I okay? I am really good, and I'll be even better in about 2 weeks as well. On the other side, we're going to talk about the Cardinals, and we're also going to talk about whatever curse is plaguing the Arizona Diamondbacks. I told you about Circle K at the beginning of this program, and there is nothing better than being a part of the inner circle. You wanna feel like you're a part of something? Become part of the inner circle, where you're gonna save 25 cents off per gallon on every fill up your first 5 times after you sign up. Then you're getting 3 cents off per gallon after that. No matter what, 3 cents off. Then you're gonna hit that ESPO level. You can get 5 cents off. But it's not just fuel you're going to save on. No, you get 79 cents Polar Pops, which all of us need something to drink this time of year. It is hot out there. 99-cent Frosters. You want to cool off? That's a way to do it. 3 for $7 Ghosts. No, not Patrick Swayze. These are drinks, energy drinks, from what I'm told by Shane. 3 for $5, 28-ounce Gatorade. So if you're losing electrolytes, they got you covered as well. So go down to your local Circle K, scan the QR code that they got on the pumps, download the Circle K app today, and become a member of the Inner Circle by entering your phone number at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. And I tell you about my friends at Branded Bills all the time. I am addicted to hats. You can ask my wife. There's 70 of them in our closet, and that's no lie. And most of them have become Branded Bills. I've had all sorts of hats throughout the years, but the most comfortable and the best when it's this hot out are Branded Bills. They even make custom hats like this PHNX hat you see on the desk every day here, and you can buy those at gophnx.com if you want. But head to brandedbills.com, use the promo code BBPHNX. You're going to save 10% off your first order of hats. And if you like custom apparel, they got that too. So head to brandedbills.com, use that promo code BBPHNX to save 10% off your first order, and tell them Espo sent you, and they're going to say who? All right.
Let's read some of these.
Shane, you want to read some of these comments?
Yeah,
okay.
let's read some of these responses. So AZ Sports Hut says Sohan and second pick from the Spurs would get it done.
Oh, that heartbeat. They're not giving up the second pick for Kevin Durant.
I think that second pick and Castle are both off the table, sadly.
Yeah. I mean, look, the second pick, maybe if it gets in a bidding war and they get desperate, but I don't see the Spurs
We actually
desperate.
Have 2 people that said the same thing. They want the same return. It's F no. Killer X and Mondo say
Killer
no.
X saying it's not happening is, you want to talk about cope. There's some cope right there.
DJ also saying the number 2 pick probably not going to happen. My favorite is Luka, Giannis, and CP3 for Kevin Durant. There you go. That's a good return.
Hey, if he was still in, if Luka was still in Dallas, that might have actually happened.
Brent Carroll saying Cat and McHale if he gets traded there. Again, don't think those are going to happen.
Money.
Guys. Yeah. Mark says McDaniels and Dillingham, not Kenny, sadly. He's talking about Rob. Would be interesting for KD. I think they would do that. I don't know if you would enjoy the return as much because, you're not really solving issues on your roster.
Well, I mean, you're getting a point guard of the future potentially, and you're getting...
Yeah, but you're getting a scoring point guard.
I mean, that's true. I mean, it's not passing, but you could argue it would at least kind of fit. I don't know. I don't want Cat either, and the reports say the Suns aren't going to go after Karl Anthony Towns. So we'll find out. And according to Brian Windhorst, we're going to find out probably in a week and a half because the NBA draft is coming up right around the corner, 2 weeks from tomorrow, I believe, Wednesday. So the clock is ticking, and the Suns, now that they've hired Jordan Ott, can focus their energies there. It's time for a little You Still Up, which isn't as dirty as it sounds. It's just we take a look at what happened around the state last night and what we think about it. And we're going to start over at Chase Field as, it was not good for J-Mart as in the ninth inning, he threw a pitch and immediately called for the trainers, and it was his elbow, and we saw how that played out for Corbin Burns. I do not think that this is going to be anything good for the Diamondbacks, and you got to start wondering exactly why this is going on. This is a lot of injuries for the pitching staff. They have a new pitching coach and group there. You got to wonder, was something changed or is this just bad luck? And last night I kind of wondered, is Phoenix under some kind of curse? Arizona under some kind of curse? And the Diamondback season, after 2 Sun seasons like we saw, makes you kind of wonder with it. And you gotta ask yourself, are they going to be able to pull out of this bad season so far? Or are they going to be sellers at the deadline? Are we looking at, yet again, a trip to a championship series and then major changes for a team on the horizon? I'd have to imagine the Diamondbacks are leaning that way right now, being under 500.
I think that that Josh Naylor post game kind of sums up everything. And I don't know. He's an emotional guy. He's Josh Naylor. I don't know. I don't want to.
You're talking about getting water poured on him and then
not
looking
reacting.
unhappy.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for him. Who knows? But
oh, come on, though. You were up 4-0 going into that ninth. You give up 4 runs in the ninth.
Yeah, if he was upset, him not reacting. Completely understandable. I'm just saying, don't know if that was the actual feeling, but it totally looked like it.
Yeah, I feel like Naylor was like many of us that were like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been so just disinterested in a walk-off, especially a grand slam, because it felt like you had just seen another nail in your coffin in the ninth, another blown lead. I think it was their 22nd or 23rd
MLB lead
of the season. And then you saw probably your best hope at having somebody that could close games have a complete elbow issue now. Like this is there's very little hope. And I don't understand. I know we had our friend Dr. or Coach Dar on the program, about a month or so back, and she said that hope stands for hold on, pain ends. But I'm not sure that pain's ending anytime soon, especially when it comes to the D-backs.
The end of the season is the end of the pain, I think.
Well,
right now, that's what it looks like. Yeah, because you don't have to continue watching a blown lead or injuries or whatever. Look, this team can turn around so fast. Like we know the D-backs can just flip a switch, but you can't uninjure someone.
No.
You can't un-Tommy John.
That would be the greatest training staff in the history of baseball if they could uninjure somebody.
Let's call in a witch doctor and let's just see what happens.
My daughter's obsessed with Wicked right now. Maybe there's some kind of witch or something we could call in with some magical spells for sure.
Chase is an airplane hangar. There's a lot of room for some holistic health activity.
Can we get a fountain of youth that just repairs
sacrifice things? A goat?
Honestly, I'm at the point, what are we going to do to break a curse? I think it goes all the way back to the 1969 Suns coin toss. I got to find a Kennedy 1964 and a half silver dollar and burn the hell out of that thing. But we'll figure it out here eventually. Also want to take a look at new photos of Marvin Harrison Jr., MHJ, and as our social media manager Emma said, the J stands for jacked. I mean, we heard about this earlier, but this photo, he's giving off David Boston vibes. I don't know if you remember him, Shane, former wide receiver for the Cardinals, but built like a brick wall now, Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think I'd want to get stiff-armed by this guy this season because you're going to look like a rock'em sock'em robot. That head might pop right off the neck.
Yeah, this dude is yoked. And we always see like crazy body transitions, and everyone always wants to talk about it, and rarely does it like translate into things. Like you kind of forget about it. Yeah. I think this one is actually because last year his game was not impacted by his strength for sure. Like was not. That was not the biggest problem. The biggest problem was just getting used to the offense and being a rookie. And
I mean, did he work out his hands?
Yeah. Well, contrary to popular belief, there were not drop issues. There was one that first game that was scary. But yeah, I mean, this is only going to help you. Like
that's true.
This is it is so exciting to see Marv take this to the next level.
Bilot in the chat said, didn't Boston get suspended for steroids? You shut your mouth. Let's not talk about that. One last thing in the Cardinals world. There is a rumor that the NFL Rivals jersey or Rivalries jersey will be sand/tan and red. I am underwhelmed by this.
I'm in. I love sand jerseys. I know people don't, but I love them.
They look like burlap sacks. I thought we were done with these once Serpientes went purple. I actually would prefer a gray one because guess what? Male Cardinals are gray. They're not red.
Yeah.
But anyways,
that's
just a bird fact for you.
We do live in the desert.
This is true. We do. So just because our houses and cars are coated with dirt, now our teams have to dress like it too. Shane, I heard a rumor that you have a little something for me today. What do you got?
We're going back to our fun segment of Hot Take Cannon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Load the cannon. We're going to get a sound effect for that so Shane doesn't have to do it.
No, I think I'm just going to do that every time.
then record it. So
Chat, what do you think? Did you like that? I think I can do that every time. Maybe I can go hot take. Cannon.
Do you let us know in the chat? Did you like that, Shane? What are my hot take topics today?
So for those of you who don't know, this is a segment where I just throw out a bunch of random stuff at Espo, and we'll see if he has a take on it or not. And most of the time, he will.
I go full Stephen H. Smith. Quite frankly, let's go.
Around the Horn being gone. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm glad. I never liked Around the Horn. PTI was always the superior show. They should have just done PTI for an hour. Around the Horn was contrived, and I really just didn't enjoy it. And there were a lot of great journalists on it. But I felt like they had to turn themselves into a parody a lot of times. Like Woody Page drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Right? Woody Page turned into a clown where he was a quality writer up in Denver. It did give us people like, it put Mina Kimes on a higher pedestal. It gave us Pablo Torre. But overall, I was never an Around the Horn guy, and I'm actually glad that it's gone. The only thing I wish that we had sometimes is a mute button where I could have controlled people on my own shows.
Yes, that is great. What I always hated was the point system. Just argue. I don't care. It doesn't never make sense.
No,
never made sense.
And guess what? There actually was a predetermined winner. They knew they were winning.
Yeah.
That's why they had their thing, their hot take or their take at the end ready.
Yeah. Next take, the mismatching accessories with your uniform. So like if your color scheme is red and white, you're wearing something yellow.
I hate it, especially when D-backs players are wearing their Serpientes belt with their white and red and black uniform. No. Like, you got a belt guy for a reason. They literally have a belt guy who gets them belts that they want with their uniforms. Wear the matching stuff. Wear the right arm sleeve. Like, there's little things. It drives me insane to see mismatch stuff on uniforms.
I love it.
Mark R. Perdomo can wear.
The yellow is great. Like him and Acuna.
I don't mind the yellow.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yellow goes with red and black, right? It doesn't have to be a team color. It just has to go.
Yeah.
That's my thing. It has to match.
J.P. Crawford on the Mariners wears a purple sleeve. And it's, you're wearing gray or teal, or it's the teal and the purple doesn't really. I mean, I guess it's the Serpientes now, but it's not that color of purple. It's interesting. So I've always liked it. However, that being said, the qualifier, you got to be good.
Yeah.
You can't be. You have to be a star, almost borderline star. Like Perdomo is teetering that line, and he's Jerry P, so he can do whatever he wants. But like Acuna can get away with it, and I know the yellow is the tertiary color for the Braves, but it's also very loud. So yeah, I like it.
Look, I honestly. I joke. It's just it clashes color wise, but you're adults. Make your own choices. And
coconuts.
There's no rule against it. Coconuts. If I'm trapped on a deserted island, 100% in on coconuts because they'll provide me the water that I need. I don't mind it in dessert, but don't try to sell me on I need to buy coconut water. Coconut water is disgusting. 100% out on coconut water.
What about like coconut flavored things?
No.
Yeah.
Just give me actual coconut if I'm going to do it. I don't mind that.
Drinking from the tap.
We grew up on it. I mean, I used to play basketball in 110-degree heat out on cement driveways and would drink out of the green hose, all right? Yeah, I'm 40. I'm old. I get it. But that's what we used to do in the summer here. I'm all in. Tap water, it's free. I mean, hell, most of your bottled water is tap water that was put in a plastic bottle and sold to you for $8 a pop. So I'm in on tap water.
Last one, movies that go straight to streaming and skip the theaters or are in the theaters at the same time.
I don't mind it at this point. Theater viewing is a giant pain in the ass and hassle and way too expensive now. That is Shane Diefenbach. That was Hot Take Cannon. A big thank you to the mustache.
That's getting better.
It is. You got to keep working on it, but we're close.
What about this?
Very good. Jacob's going to kill me if we don't get out of here quick. So a big thank you to the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, for everything he does on the buttons and all these great work on our segments. Big thanks to you for joining, even Killer Rex, who I'm starting to think might be my father's secret handle just to give me crap on the program. And remember, call or text the voicemail bag. We're doing one of those on Friday. You can follow the show at PHNX_sports. You can follow me at Espo. And don't forget, just because it's ending doesn't mean that's a bad thing. Ahoy, hoy!
We all silly like the mayor.